I'm not gonna lie, I really don't give a fuck about graphics or FPS, but if you care, the game looks really good. Almost too good, to be honest. I don't need to see how fluffy and fuzzy Ratchet is, but it's cool if you're into that for reasons. Of everything that could have brought me back to making videos, the last thing I expected to be was a Venom movie. But you know, here we are. I ended up seeing the movie early last night through a little method I like to call piracy. Not really though, I just somehow ended up at the theater to watch the Venom movie. And I'm not gonna lie and pretend I wasn't super excited for it. I did really want to see it because I feel like I'm one of the rare people who really did like the first Venom movie. Is it the best superhero movie? No. Is it the best Marvel movie? No. Is it a good movie? No, but I still really did like it. It fulfilled that meathead part of my brain that just wanted to laugh at dumb things and watch big slimy shit fight other slimy shit. So when I watched that first one, I got pretty much exactly what I wanted from it. And going into the second one, I was expecting pretty much the same thing. Dialogue that's a lot cringier than it needs to be. Scenes that are a lot funnier than they actually intend to be. CGI that looks like it hopped out of a 2000s horror movie. And once again, I got pretty much exactly what I wanted. I'm honestly not even sure how I would describe the pace of this movie because it somehow moves at breakneck speed, but also moves extremely slow. Like slow to the point where it's kind of annoying. I'm not going to spoil anything about the movie, and maybe I'll make like a spoilery discussion review or something later. But we just start the movie like with Cletus, and then we're just moving from scene to scene to scene to scene, just doing shit. But then out of nowhere, we're just hitting a dead stop where stuff's happening, but nothing's happening at the same time. Like these are scenes that we could pretty much just cut out completely or just break down, do like a minute or something, and then it would kind of have the same effect. The reason the pacing is really annoying to me is because the movie almost feels like it takes place over the course of one day, and the only reason that you can straight up tell that it doesn't is because sometimes we'll have scenes in the morning and then just skip everything in the middle of the day and go straight to the night and then go to the next day in the morning or the next day in the afternoon. It's not the most confusing or plot breaking pacing, but it was just a little annoying in my opinion. I don't exactly know how to classify everything else I feel about the movie because you could also say that it's a positive criticism at the same time as being a negative one. The easiest one to classify is the CGI, which is lacking sometimes. There's random scenes where Carnage looks so real it's a little uncomfortable of how slimy and gross he looks. And then there's scenes that straight up look like it's a PS4 cutscene from the Spider-Man game. And I actually did see the scene where he becomes Carnage on YouTube, and it had the PlayStation symbol, and I swear I thought it was like a scene from the upcoming Spider-Man game, so that's why I clicked it, and I spoiled myself on how he becomes Carnage. But everyone in the comments was also confused because they thought it was from a game too or something because of how the CGI looks. Overall though, it's pretty passable CGI throughout the entire movie. I mean, it's probably extremely expensive to have Venom on screen at all times, so there's going to be some dips in quality and some heights of quality. It's just something that happens, so I don't mind it too much. But if you're someone that is real picky about the CGI you look at for whatever reason, then it might bother you a bit. The dialogue is extremely cringy, but extremely funny at the same time, to the point where I don't even know if I like the dialogue at all. I laugh because of how cringy it is sometimes, but then there's some genuine good jokes in there. And there's also the occasional heartfelt moment that does make you feel kind of bad for Eddie and or Venom. However, after that, you get some of the cringiest dialogue from Cletus and or Carnage. They may have well have just had him wearing a choker and a Fall Out Boy t-shirt with how edgy his dialogue and everything about him is. Like, don't get me wrong, regular Cletus from like the comics and cartoons already has some pretty edgy dialogue, but the difference is that in this movie, it's coupled with the already base level of cringe dialogue, and then as a bonus, you have Woody Harrelson's acting. I don't even know how I would describe Carnage in the movie without like spoiling every bit of his dialogue that I think is super cringy or super edgy. He's so edgy as a character that they even do the Tim Burton thing where they give him a flashback that's done in like this pen and paper kind of aesthetic and like stick figures and shit. I was silently screaming in my mind about how much I hate watching that in the theater. But then at the same time, Carnage's action scenes are pretty fun to watch because there's no dialogue attached. It's just slimy shit fighting slimy shit again. Like, I know everything I'm saying is pretty much just a huge negative, but I still just really liked the movie. And I love it for the same reason I love the first one, because they're both just really dumb, stupid movies that are, you know, fun. If you hated the first one, you're going to probably hate this one. And if you like the first one, you'll probably like this one even more. So I think it's just one of those movies where you either love it or you hate it, and I just happen to love it because of the reasons that other people would hate it, I guess. I am really disappointed that we didn't get Eminem making a remaster of his Venom song for this movie. that is probably the only thing that'll bring this down from an absolute 9 or 10 or whatever the fuck I'm gonna rate it. Just like the first movie, I don't think I'll ever actually see it again unless a friend wants to go see it in theater. But I also remember the plot to the first one pretty well, surprisingly. And I also remembered the plot to this movie pretty well, despite the shitty pacing issues. It's funny because I remember the plot to the 2 Venom movies, which are objectively probably some of the lower tier superhero movies. I remember the plot to those better than the Christopher Nolan Batman movies or the first Avengers movie. And I think the first Iron Man movie, because I haven't watched it in a bit, but I don't remember what happens much in that one. Make of that of what you will, though. I don't think that's like an objective plus or minus of any of those movies. It's just something's memorable and something else is not. Like I said, you're probably either going to hate or love the movie, but I still don't think it'll be anybody's favorite superhero movie or movie in general. My ratings don't mean anything at all, to be honest, but I'm going to give this one, I think, about a 4 out of 10. But on the meathead scale, it gets a solid 10 out of 10. I'm going to leave this review as more of a choose your adventure type thing, so whichever score means more to you is the score that the movie will have. I'll even throw a 1 out of 10 in there, so there's even more options for you. That's about it though. I don't have any other videos planned yet. I do have a few I want to make, but I still just need to find the time to do it. I found the time to make this one, but it's because it's like a 5-minute, 6-minute video at max. But I do like making 5 and 6-minute videos more than I do like the longer ones, so we'll just see what I do with that. But that's been it. See ya.